My dear, even experts can't explain the gravity of your silence in my heart. They said you're rare, like a storm hiding in a fragile calm. The expert's voice trembled, trying to describe your shadow in my soul. They saw your truth, wild, broken, and terrifyingly beautiful. I sought advice, but the expert only echoed your name back to me. Your love is a puzzle even experts hesitate to solve. They warned me, your heart's fire can either burn or heal worlds. An expert saw your scars and whispered, this love is not for the faint. The expert admired your chaos. They said it's what draws me forever. You're a mystery the wise still fail to understand, and I love that. They studied your patterns, but only my heart speaks your language. The expert admired your silence. It screams louder than any truth. They told me you're dangerous, but I'm addicted to your storm. Even experts are powerless against the gravity of your absence. The experts' counsel ended with, you love a force no one controls. They said, she's a rare kind of heartbreak, and I believed it. Your energy confounds experts, but my soul is already home. They warned me of your darkness, but I saw only stars. An expert called you unreachable. I call you inevitable. The expert said, she's a question no answer can touch. I talked to the expert, but they couldn't map your wild heart. They said your love is a riddle only fools dare to solve. An expert's respect for you was the closest I felt to peace. They told me to be cautious, but my heart whispered otherwise. Your presence is the kind of mystery even experts bow to. The expert said, love her if you dare, and I took the leap. They admired your strength, unaware it hides endless, fragile tides. I asked for advice, but the expert only saw my surrender. They said you're a fire that consumes, but I'm already burned. The expert's eyes softened when I mentioned your name. They said your love is not for healing, but for awakening. The expert called you a storm, but I feel the calm in your chaos. I trusted the expert, but my heart knows your wild truth. They said, she's an ocean too deep to drown in, and I swim. The expert's words echoed your silent promises. They warned me of heartbreak, but forgot to mention how beautiful it feels. The expert said, she's a masterpiece painted in scars. I talked to the expert, and they saw your shadow behind my eyes. They said you're a lesson no one wants to learn twice. The expert admired your mystery, but feared your power. They told me, you'll never own her, but I don't need to. The expert's voice cracked when they spoke of your love's weight. They said, her love breaks and builds worlds, and I believed it. I sought guidance, but the expert gave me only your echoes. They called you a force beyond understanding, and I'm caught in its pull. The expert warned me to guard my heart, but it's already yours. They said your love is a wild, sacred chaos. The expert called your silence a storm waiting to be heard. They told me you love a ghost no one else can see. The expert's caution was no match for my reckless devotion. I talked to the expert, but only you hold the answers I need. They called you impossible, and that's why I keep trying. The expert admired your fire, but feared its burn. They said your love is a riddle wrapped in a dream. The expert's wisdom bowed to your unpredictable heart. I asked for clarity, but the expert only saw my confusion. They warned me, loving you is a beautiful kind of pain. The expert said, she's a storm no shelter can contain. They called you chaos, but I see sacred rhythm. The expert's voice softened. Love her like a wild flame. I sought counsel, but the expert only mirrored my devotion. They said you're an enigma that no map can chart. The expert told me your love is both curse and blessing. They saw your scars and called you an immortal soul. The expert's respect for you taught me to cherish every fragment. I talked to the expert, and they confessed your impossible beauty. They said your heartbreak made sacred. The expert's words couldn't capture the depth of your absence. They told me your love is a secret no one fully hears. The expert said, she's a force of nature, untamed and pure. They called you a riddle only my heart tries to solve. The expert admired your strength, but I adore your softness. They said your silence speaks louder than any truth I've known. The expert warned me, but I'm lost in your storm anyway. They told me you're a love story no expert can explain. The expert's wisdom fell silent before your wild truth. They said, her love burns bright enough to heal or destroy. I sought answers, but the expert only showed me your reflection. They called your presence both a blessing and a wound. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. They said loving you is like chasing a flame that never dies. The expert admired your light, hidden beneath endless shadows. They told me you're the kind of love that haunts and heals. The expert said your heart beats to a rhythm only I can hear. They called you wild, but I know you're home. The expert's words failed to hold the gravity of your love. They said you're a story written in stars and scars. The expert's caution faded when they saw my surrender to you. They said your love is a sacred fire I gladly burn for. The expert's voice trembled, knowing no advice could prepare me for you. They told me you're the kind of heartbreak that becomes healing. The expert called you beautiful chaos, and I agreed silently. They said you're the secret every heart longs to unlock. The expert's respect for you taught me to never let go. They warned me, but I was already lost in your gravity. The expert said, she's a storm no calm can contain. They called you a force that reshapes the soul's deepest corners. The expert's wisdom bowed to the intensity of your love. They said you're a mystery wrapped in a lover's silence. I talked to the expert about you. Still, only my heart understands. The expert spoke your name like a prayer I now repeat silently. They said your absence is a wound only time can't heal. The expert's words faded when I confessed my endless devotion to you. They called your love a wildfire that leaves nothing untouched, especially my soul. The expert saw your storm and whispered, beware or be forever changed. They said you're the secret echo in every lonely night. The expert called you an uncharted universe I'm doomed to explore. They said your love is a fierce shadow dancing behind every joy. The expert warned me, but I was already drowning in your gravity. They said, she's a force both brutal and breathtaking. Love her fiercely. The expert's counsel couldn't contain the wildness that is you. They said your silence breaks louder than any spoken word ever could. The expert's fear met my reckless desire to love you completely. They called you a flame that melts every guarded piece of me. The expert said, her love is a storm, embrace the chaos. They told me you're the secret wound that became my greatest healing. The expert called your absence a void both terrifying and sacred. They said you're the kind of heartbreak that teaches the soul to soar. The expert's words couldn't capture the weight of loving you. They told me she's an enigma wrapped in a lover's sorrow. The expert called you a wild heartbeat beneath a fragile skin. They said your love is a riddle even stars hesitate to solve. The expert admired your scars. They hold stories no one dares to tell. They warned me your love could either burn or bless eternally. The expert said you're a shadow that lingers long after the light fades. They told me you're loving a force that bends all rules. The expert's voice cracked when speaking of your impossible beauty. They said you're the secret gravity pulling my fractured heart home. The expert called your love a sacred chaos I willingly drown in. They warned me your silence is louder than any confession I know. The expert saw your soul's storm and admired its wild elegance. They said you're the kind of mystery that haunts dreams and daylight. The expert called your love both a wound and a cure. They told me, she's a storm no harbor can contain. The expert's respect for you taught me to love without fear. They said your heart beats to a rhythm only the brave can hear. The expert's advice fell silent before the magnitude of your love. They called you a wild secret my soul is desperate to keep. The expert said you're the sacred fire no water can extinguish. They warned me to guard my heart, but it's already yours. The expert's words echoed your silent promise in my broken heart. They said you're a love story written in scars and stars. The expert admired your chaos. They said it's what keeps me alive. They told me you're the kind of heartbreak that heals with time. The experts' caution faded when they saw my surrender to you. They said your love is a force no wisdom can tame. The expert called you a beautiful storm I'm unafraid to chase. They said your silence holds more truth than 1,000 confessions. The expert warned me of your wildness, but I'm lost in it already. They called you a mystery my heart refuses to forget. The expert said you're the wound I'd choose to carry forever. They told me she's a flame that melts even the coldest soul. The expert's words couldn't capture the depth of my longing for you. They said your love is a sacred storm that reshapes all I knew. The expert admired your shadow. They said it's my home now. They warned me your absence is a silence louder than screams. The expert said you're a wild heartbeat beneath the calmest surface.